Hey y'all, this is Jimmy, and I'm discussing the Week 10 discussion board reading, for English 242, which was the play Long Day's Journey into Night. We were asked to compare this play to several other plays we have read throughout the weeks, and we were asked to discuss the progression of subject matter, themes, and staging. In The Long Day's Journey into Night, I'd like to just recap a little bit since it was the play we read most recently. The title is literally what the play is, pretty much. The coverage is one very snafu family, which, please, if you don't know what the word snafu is, look it up for what it stands for. It's a useful word. But basically, this is the longest day I've ever read about in the history of reading. The play was literally like 70 pages, and all that happened was everyone got drunk or high, pretty much. Tyrone the dad, Edmund the younger son, Jamie the older son, and Kathleen the maid all got drunk. Then Mary the mother was super high off morphine, which was just as bad. Basically, this family fights and lies to each other and slowly gets drunker throughout the day so that they are farther and farther from the sad reality of their lives. No one in the family is happy. Edmund has tuberculosis and is not taking care of himself. Jamie is a bum. Mary is an addict who is no longer beautiful like she was when she was younger, and she regrets that. And Tyrone, the dad, he gets no help from his sons in his real estate investment business. What I find interesting about this play and what sets it apart from the other plays that we've read so far is how there was no story being told, at least in my opinion. At least like in the Octoroon, there was sort of a love story being told, and in Trifles, women were coming together to rise out of the roles that they'd been trapped in for centuries as like secondary and being forced to do whatever the men wanted. And in Margaret Fleming, we see a woman with a cheating husband who has no backbone when it comes to like responsibility for his actions. So she steps in and takes care of the family and keeps them together through something. But I don't feel like The Long Day's Journey into Night tells a very progressive story, but rather it just gives us insight on a very messed up family. And as far as themes go, I take away a couple from this play. One theme was that a persona a person or family portrays on the outside might be a lot prettier than what is actually on the inside. And I also believe that the author might have been trying to show us that money can lead to more problems instead of less. The sons grew up with mommy and daddy buying and paying for everything, so they never really did anything positive with their lives. Also, Tyrone, the father, obviously had enough money to live comfortably with his family, but yet he was still constantly worried about cutting corners and saving money wherever they could. He was greedy, and it showed many times throughout the play. His greed led him to taking his wife to see a cheap doctor after her labor pains caused her to need some kind of care. And instead of the doctor thinking about the repercussions from prescribing her a addictive drug like morphine, he just gave it to her to solve her pain problems. So that also led, his greed also led to taking his son Eugene to a cheap doctor who didn't catch the early signs of tuberculosis, which is a terminal disease if not caught early enough back in the day, especially. Um, so he also worries about a few other things like using too much electricity. He bought Mary a used car instead of a new one. He hired Kathleen, which was a cheaper maid the mother wasn't as happy with, as like a first-rate maid. Um, so we see over and over that money is playing a big role in their family's life, but even though they have a lot of it, they're still not secure in their money. They still are worried about it and fighting for like cheaper things. So basically, it's just examples of Tyrone refusing to spend money even when he has plenty. And as far as the staging goes, the staging for The Long Day's Journey into Night was very specific, but it all took place in one. It all took place in one place, which was the living room. It described the living room in a lot of detail, but it never really changed scenes. And in all the other plays, we had like multiple scenes, like different locations that the setting was and the backdrop and everything. And I just find that weird how this story took place over one day, is the whole length of the story, and nothing really changed throughout. We just learned how crappy these people were. And then as far as like the scenery goes, we stayed in one place the whole time. It never like changed locations. And I just find that pretty odd for a play. So that's my take on it.